Okay, today we're going to do questions 11 through 20. So here we have question number 11. And if I go down and check the answer choices, and I'm a big fan of looking at the answer choices first, notice it says domain range, domain range, domain range. So I bet I got to find the domain and range. Well, I know that domain is simply my x values that the graph covers from left to right. So this is my x-axis. So the smallest x value we have is 0, and the biggest one we have is 50. So my domain is going to be from 0 to 50. Now my y values are going to be my range, and the smallest y value I have right here is also at 0, and the biggest one is 100. So what I need is to have a domain from 0 to 50 and a range from 0 to 100. This has that backwards. It says domain 0 to 100. I don't know what that even says. All numbers greater than or equal to 0, less than 50. Yep. Greater than 0, less than 100. Yep. There we go. That one is my domain and range. Okay. Number 11 is finished. Now, number 12 can be a little difficult because it doesn't actually give you an equation. It gives you a transformation of an equation. Now, I know the quadratic parent function should make a u, best I can here, and that u should have a dot at 0, 0. So what I'm going to do is look for a transformation of that dot. How did it move? Well, any number outside the parentheses when we're adding or subtracting is going to move up or down. And since it's minus, it's going to move down. So you can see if my dot was supposed to be at 0, 0, that one's up. That one is down. That one is down. That one is up. Okay, so we've narrowed it down to these two. Now, inside the parentheses is going to move left or right. So we're going to move left or right 2. And since it's plus, it actually moves left. It's backwards from what you would think. So pluses move left, minuses move right. So I need to move this left 2. And again, I'm supposed to be in the middle. That's right 2. That one is left 2. So H has to be my answer. All right, we've got this expression, and it wants us to simplify. So I'm going to divide this up into different parts. We've got our numbers, our m's, our p's, and our v's. Well, the numbers are just going to get divided. So 45 divided by 15, that would be 3. And then the exponents get subtracted. So negative 6 minus negative 2 would be the same thing as negative 6 plus 2. So that gives me negative 4. Then the p's, 2 minus 8, gives me negative 6. And then the v's, 12 minus negative 4, gives me positive 16. Now you notice that doesn't match, but it's because of negatives. The rule was we're not allowed to have negative exponents. And if we do have negative exponents, they get moved. So this m is going to move to the bottom. This p is going to move to the bottom. And this v is not negative, so it's going to stay right where it is. So my answer should be 3v to the 16 over m4 p, not negative 6. Darn it. When it moves, it becomes positive. So that should have been a positive 6. That's answer choice B. If you can just do the numbers, 45 divided by 15 is 3, then you can eliminate 2 of them right off the bat and narrow that down. What is the positive solution to this equation? Well, this equation is not set up to find an answer because of this 135. It actually needs to be over here on this side. So I need to subtract 135 from both sides. I don't know why it does that little fill-in thing. That gives me 4x squared plus 12x minus 135 equals 0. Now it's ready for the quadratic formula. At the formula chart at the first of the test, or well, if it's digital, you can click on it, but it's at the beginning of this test, we have the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And my a value is going to be the number in front of the x squared, so that's going to be 4. My b value is the number in front of the x, that's 12, and my c value is the number by itself. So a is 4, b is 12, c is negative 135. You just plug them in, and you come out with 4.5. Now, the formula says plus and minus. You're supposed to do it twice, one time with a plus and one time with a minus. But one of those gives me a negative number, and notice it says positive solution. So I just want the 4.5. Because this is griddable, it has to be a decimal, by the way, because griddable ones you can't write as a fraction. $15 says a grill at a barbecue restaurant cooks sausages that are 2 pounds each. And you notice we're writing an equation here. So what is sausages? X is sausages, so we should need 2x. Well, that's got 2y, that's got 2x, that's got 2y, that's got 2x. 6 briskets are y. So 6 and 6, that's fine. No more than. So we're going to do less than or greater than? We're going to do less than, because no more means we can't go above. So that's going to be less than or equal to 120. Number 16, which expression is equivalent to all this? Now, what you could do is, I don't like the R's. I would do X's. You can do 3, store X in the calculator. I don't know why it does that weird writing thing. But you can do 3 store X, type this in the calculator and get a number. Then type your answer choices in the calculator and see which one gives you the same number this one did. Or it's just an addition problem we can add. So I'm going to add 10 plus negative 18. That makes negative 8. So you can see this one has a positive 8, and so does that one. So it's got to be one of these two. All right, 7R plus 5R makes positive 12R. Well, that's got 2R. So that one has to be the answer. If I go ahead and add these two, I get negative 7R squared. All right, every time we have one of these inequalities, I want to make sure y is by itself, and it is, and then I want to look at the sign. If it does not have a line on it, then it needs to be dotted. So it can't be A and it can't be B. It's got to be one of these two. It's also greater than. Greater than means shade above. Well, that one's shaded below, so it can't be that. It's got to be that one, all based on what the sign is right there. All right, in this one, we have exponential problem. This number is my initial value. It's where we start. This is my change. This is the percentage we're changing by. Okay, and so it says which statement of best interpretation. And by the way, because this is bigger than 1, this is growth. We're getting bigger. If it was less than 1, then it would be decay and we would be getting smaller. F says the initial balance of the account decreases at a rate of 97.5%. Well, no, decreasing means going down. We're going up, so not F. The balance in the account increases at a rate of 2.5% each year. That's possible. The initial balance of the account was 1,025. Nope, 850 is my initial value, so that's out. The balance in the account at the end of the year is 850. Well, no, if we multiply these together, I'm definitely not going to get 850. So G is the correct answer. All right, 19. I go to stat in the calculator, put this in L1, go to over to L2 and put this in. And then you can go over to press stat again, then go over to edit and tell it quadratic, because it says quadratic, and it will give you the answer. It'll write the equation for you. Correct answer to number 19 is B. 20, the graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Rate of change is the same thing as slope. So we're trying to find the slope. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. And remember, we had a slope formula that said we take y2 and subtract y1, and then we do x2 minus x1. So we're just going to go in and fill that in. Y2 is going to be 2. Y1 is going to be 3.6. X2 is going to be 5. X1 is going to be negative 3. I would type that in the calculator. It tells me negative 0.2, and that's what I would bubble in. Now, normally with slope, I would want a fraction, or if it did give me a fraction, I think it comes out to be like negative 1/5. You can press the math button and tell it, give me a decimal, and it will do that for you. But because it's griddable and we got to bubble it in and write it, it's got to be the decimal version. Okay, that takes care of 11 through 20. Remember, if something was easy, make sure you circle it. If it was hard, put a square on it, and you can go back and change what you've already done. And if you don't think either way, then just leave it blank.